Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon and today we're featuring this week's Midweek Magic event. This week's theme is Brawl, which is one of my favorite ways to play on Arena. You win prizes for the first 3 games you win of Midweek Magic, 2 rare cards, and a mystery cosmetic. We're going to be featuring a Brawl deck with a commander from Throne of Eldraine to continue our series. Our commander for this deck is Linden, the Steadfast Queen. So let's take a look at the deck and play some games. So here's a look at the deck. Our commander, Linden, has a triggered ability which says whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain 1 life. So the obvious home for Linden is an aggressive creature deck that has life gain synergies, and that is what we have with this deck here. I've sorted the non-land cards into categories, so let's look at them now. First, we have a few ramp artifacts. Arcane Signet is a staple in almost every Brawl deck, as is Cold Steel Heart. Mono white decks get Pearl Medallion from Modern Horizons 3, which gives all our white spells a 1 mana discount. At 3 mana, we have Heraldic Banner, which also buffs our creatures. The Celestis, which can give us some card selection and gain us life for our synergies. And Phial of Galadriel, which can draw us 2 cards if we're empty-handed at the start of our turn, or double how much life we gain if we have 5 or less life. Next are the life gain enablers. There are a number of creatures with lifelink, like Serra Ascendant, Speaker of the Heavens, and Ocelot Pride, all of which also pay you off for gaining life. Other such creatures include Healer's Hawk, the new Brightblade Stoat from Bloomborough, Skycrier, which can draw you and your opponent extra cards, Mandible Justiciar, which gets bigger if you play artifacts, and Leonin Sanctifier, which also gives another creature in your hand lifelink. There's also Alseid of Life's Bounty, which you can sacrifice to protect a key creature, Lone Rider, which transforms into a 3/3 if you gain 3 or more life in a turn, and Extraction Specialist, which can get a cheaper creature back from the graveyard. Rock's Faithmender also doubles how much life you gain, while Mangara the Diplomat can draw cards depending on what the opponent does. At the top of the curve is Cerise, Slayer of Fear, who is also a payoff because she provides you with card advantage when you gain life on your turn. Other enablers gain you life when creatures enter. Soul Warden is the best, since it also triggers when the opponent's creatures enter. And also at 1 mana, we have Lunarch Veteran, Ajani's Welcome, and Case of the Uneaten Feast, which if you solve it, can let you cast creatures from your graveyard. At 2 mana, there's the new Life Creed duo from Bloomborough, Distinguished Conjurer, which can blink your creatures at instant speed, Daxos, Blessed by the Sun, who also triggers when your creatures die, and Impassioned Orator. Archivist of Ogma gains 1 life when your opponent searches their library, so it's great with all the fetch lands decks are playing. At 3 mana, Core Celebrant also gains you life when your creatures enter, and so does Righteous Valkyrie if the creature is an angel or a cleric. There are 3 other angels and 15 other clerics in the deck. Righteous Valkyrie also buffs your creatures if you have at least 32 life in Brawl. Finally, both Priest of Ancient Lore and Inspiring Overseer gain you 1 life and draw a card when they enter. Next, we have the life gain payoffs. These are mostly creatures which get +1/+1 counters whenever you gain life, like Ajani's Pridemate, Hallowed Priest, Voice of the Blessed, and the new Essence Channeler from Bloomborough at 2 mana. We don't have many ways to lose life on our turn to give Essence Channeler flying and vigilance before combat, but that's okay. Celestial Unicorn at 3 mana, and Twin Blade Paladin at 4 mana also get +1/+1 counters when you gain life. Angel of Vitality doubles how much life you gain, and is a 4/4 if you have at least 25 life, which is the starting life total in Brawl. Griffinary the Book of Exalted Deeds, and Resplendent Angel all make creature tokens if you gain enough life. Dawn of Hope can draw cards when you gain life and can enable itself by making soldier tokens with lifelink. And then a couple of payoffs give +1/+1 counters like Cleric class, which also doubles how much life you gain and can reanimate a creature. Or Heliod Suncrowned, who can also give other creatures lifelink until end of turn. We also have some card draw in addition to Dawn of Hope. Takesia's Welcome draws a card when cheap creatures enter. Sigarda's Splendor draws a card if your life total is higher at the beginning of your current upkeep than it was at the beginning of your last upkeep, and also gains life when you cast white spells. Mentor of the Meek and Welcoming Vampire both draw cards when creatures with power 2 or less enter. Admittedly, they don't work quite so well if you have Heraldic Banner in play, pumping your creature's power. Next we have a few removal spells. Swords to Plowshares is a must-have in any white deck. Razorgrass Ambush can deal 3 damage, or be played as a land. Lorn of the Third Path destroys an artifact or enchantment when she enters and can then draw you cards. Witch Enchanter also destroys an artifact or enchantment or can be played as a land. Prayer of Binding exiles any non-land permanent until it leaves play and also gains you 2 life. Elspeth Conquers Death exiles any non-land permanent with mana value 3 or greater, and on the 3rd chapter can reanimate a creature or planeswalker. Sune's Intervention is a versatile modal spell, which can destroy both an artifact and an enchantment, gain life, create 2 night tokens, or seek a cheap non-land card. Our last category are cards that provide some value in some way. Ambitious Farmhand, The Birth of Meletus, and the Restoration of Iganjo all find you a plains, as well as having other abilities. Invasion of Gobekhan disrupts the opponent's hand by exiling a card and making it cost 2 more mana to cast, and if we transform it, becomes Light Shield Array, which buffs our creatures and can be sacrificed to give the team hexproof and indestructible. Knight of Dawn's Light doubles our life gain, and Dawn's Truce is a new instant from Bloomborough that is good against control. We also have 2 planeswalkers. Ajani's Strength of the Pride is a life gain, enabler, payoff, and a removal all in one. Gaining life equals the number of creatures and planeswalkers you control, creating Ajani's Pridemate tokens, or exiling the opponent's creatures and artifacts if you have at least 40 life. Archangel Elspeth creates 1/1 life-linking tokens, can give a creature flying and turning it into an angel, and her ultimate ability, which is reachable, gets back all non-land permanents in your graveyard, from your graveyard, I should say, with mana value 3 or less, which are most of the permanents in this deck. Moving on to our mana base, we're playing Snow Basics so that we can have Faceless Haven as a creature land. We also have Cave of the Frost Dragon as another creature land. Kessel Ardenvale makes 1/1 human tokens to trigger our life gain cards. Minas Tirith can draw cards when we attack, and Iganjo, Seat of the Empire, can also be removal. We also have Fabled Passage and Prismatic Vista to thin out the deck and search up a basic land. We are also playing Shafet Dunes, which costs us 1 life to tap for white mana because it enables Essence Channeler, and it can also be sacrificed to pump our creatures. That's our Linden deck. Now it's time to take it into the queue and play some games. Okay, so we're up against Liliana of the Veil. I don't think this is a very good matchup. Mono-black decks tend to pack a lot of removal, and Planeswalker decks tend to be more controlling. Liliana of the Veil is effective removal, especially when an opponent is on the play, which our opponent is, and she makes us discard cards, although that is a symmetrical effect. And she's game-winning if she reaches her ultimate ability, which is not too hard to do in a mono-black deck, packing loads of removal. We're short on creatures, and we have a Swords to Plowshares, which is probably going to do nothing in this matchup. The Restoration of Igonjo is a bit slow. We do have Cave of the Frost Dragon, and creature lands tend to be a little bit better in control matchups, so I think we'll try it. Our 2-drop is just going to die to Liliana of the Veil, but there's nothing we can do about that. And of course, turn 1 Duress. On takes Restoration of Igonjo. No surprise there. Obviously ignoring Swords to Plowshares. The opponent doesn't have a turn 2 play. They might just be playing removal for my 2-drop, so that they can plus Liliana when they play her. But we need to get some creatures out there. So here we go. Opponent is maybe trying to decide which of a handful of removal spells they're going to use on Mandible Justiciar, and it's Shoot the Sheriff. So they'll probably play Liliana. No surprise there.
Happy to help, don't overthink.
So Swords to Plowshares can go. Hallowed Priest would be nice if we still had Mandible Justiciar. It'll still be good with Linden. I'm going to play her. I don't have very many high hopes that she'll resolve. Opponent's tapped out, but I don't have high hopes that she'll stick around, especially because they can just minus Liliana. But that's our most mana efficient play, so opponent might also just have removal for Linden so they can plus Liliana again. Yep.
I'm tired of your secrets.
On the bright side, our life total is not likely to be under pressure, so we could draw some cards off Sigarda's Splendor just by casting spells, which we'll definitely need in a discard matchup. I don't have any way to gain life right now, so I think we've been Hallowed Priest. Which Enchanter... Tiny Bones. Well, now we need that Swords to Plowshares. Tiny Bones is a good payoff for playing discard.
Drop it.
Because they can reanimate, use Tiny Bones to cast my permanents that I've had to discard from my graveyard. Okay. So on the bright side, opponent is empty-handed. They can ultimate Liliana if we don't damage her. Unfortunately, we're 1 mana short of activating Frost Dragon. Well, although it's more mana efficient to play Linden, one creature isn't going to cut it. I think we play out our hand, Life Pre-Duo and Knight of Dawn's Light, so we gain life with Sigarda's Splendor, and keep Sigarda's Splendor when opponent makes a sacrifice stuff. Yep.
The others can deal Fine. With you. I know when I'm not wanted one way or another. This fight's over for me.
Okay. Yeah, so this is, now you have to be careful. This is the selecting a pile to sacrifice. It says these are the cards that are going to be destroyed. I think we want, like I said, I think we want to keep Sigarda's Splendor for the card draw. Knight of Dawn's Light also profitably blocks Tiny Bones. So I think it's Life Pre-Duo and the 3 lands. Unfortunately, we drew a 6-drop. And if opponent draws a land, they can just replay Liliana and make me sacrifice my Knight of Dawn's Light. Well, it had to be Shouldered the Apocalypse. Alright, well fortunately I am going to get to eat Gix for free. We only drew 1 card because we didn't gain life last turn because we couldn't cast a spell. And our life total's lower than the last time we checked. Oh, we did draw life. Never mind. Greater than or equal. Okay, so we didn't lose life, so we managed to draw an extra card, although that's not really a good thing with Shouldered the Apocalypse in play.
When
Here comes
I
Liliana,
win,
they drew their
you're
5th
telling
land.
me what you know about the Raven Man.
They have no cards in hand, so they have no need to use the discard ability.
Sacrifices must be made.
So it's a good thing we have Resplendent Angel. Now, what to sacrifice? It's really unfortunate that they drew a land. I think it's Core Celebrant, because we gain life off Resplendent Angel entering the battlefield from casting Sigarda's Splendor. And Knight of Dawn's Light blocks Tiny Bones. Resplendent Angel also is a flyer. Well, that's actually not the worst.
Don't overthink things.
I can kill Liliana with Resplendent Angel. Opponent should just attack with Shouldered. I'm not blocking, because I lose both creatures. And this way, Sigarda's Splendor doesn't trigger. Alright, so we gain 2 life for each white creature that attacks. Which means we're going to create 6 life. Gain 6 life, I should say, which means that we'll create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance on our end step.
It's no fun when they hit back.
If we draw 1 more land, we can enable Resplendent Angel's ability. I don't want Tiny Bones to hit me and let opponent cast spells from my graveyard, so as much as it pains me to lose the Angel token, I think we throw it under the bus. Elspeth conquers death, you say? Well, I thought we were goners for sure, but things are kind of looking up here. And we can get a... don't have any planeswalkers in the graveyard, but I can get a creature back from the graveyard with a +1/+1 counter on it in Chapter 3. Whoa! I don't believe it! Opponent concedes! Wow. Amazing. I thought we were going to lose this game for sure. Well, I'll take it. So let's see what our prize is. We get a card of at least rarity. So sometimes you can even get mythic rares. And it is a mythic rare. The Myco Tyrant from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. That makes for an interesting commander. Anyway, on we go. So, Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. Jace is an alternate win condition commander in that you can win if you draw a card while your library has no cards in it. You win the game instead. Normally, you lose the game if you draw a card when your library has no cards in it. Okay, this sometimes happens in Midweek Magic. There's no pressure to play the game, so sometimes people just concede. Anyway, that's too bad. I was looking forward. I haven't seen too much of Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, so I was looking forward to seeing how this was going to go. And our next reward, we get 20 gems because we were going to get a rare from Wilds of Eldraine, and we have all the rares from that set. Not too bad. On we go. Alright, Jaxus the Troublemaker. Not quite sure what to expect. I think this is the first time I've seen Jaxus as a commander, at least that I can remember anyway. Hopefully opponent sticks around. It would be nice to actually play a game. I don't think we can keep this with only one land. We do have a cleric class, but missing our land drops is really bad. So, and you get a free mulligan in Brawl, so it's not as punishing as normal. I think I would prefer 3 lands, but I think we keep this. I'm on the play, so I don't really want to go down to 6 cards because you don't draw a card on your first turn. So we're going to keep this. We've got a Lifelinker with Lone Rider. We've got Dawn of Hope, which might be able to draw some cards. Lone Rider is pretty small, so, and I don't have combat tricks to pump it up, so it might get blanked pretty quickly. But we do have Resplendent Angel to fly over, and Takesha's Welcome to draw some cards, and Sigarda's Splendor for that matter. But I think our life total will be under more pressure in this matchup, so I'm not sure Sigarda's Splendor is going to be that useful. Life Creed Duo. Might as well get that out first. Wouldn't prefer to have drawn a land, to be honest, but another 2-drop. Maze Mind Tome. Interesting. Another land. That's great. I think we played Takesha's Welcome. Red has no way of removing enchantments, and this is a card draw engine for us. Ooh. If we played Standard, or pretty much any constructed format, Fable of the Mirror Breaker is amazing. I would have loved to have kept Iganjo in hand, but I need it for my land drop. Linden is not an especially effective play. I could play Sigarda's Splendor, but my life total is not going to be higher on my next upkeep, or the same, because it'll attack in with the Shaman token. So I think it's Lone Rider and Dawn of Hope. And I don't think I can profitably block the Shaman, especially if they have removal. Leonin Sanctifier. I'm not going to draw a card off Dawn of Hope. Actually, I could draw a card off Dawn of Hope playing Leonin Sanctifier next turn. And I think if we're going to win this game, it's because we get card advantage from cards like Takesha's Welcome and Dawn of Hope. Giving Resplendent Angel lifelink seems pretty good to me with Leonin Sanctifier. Opponent discards Bag of Holding and Combustible Gear Hulk. Uh-oh. Well, I think I would have preferred to have kept the Takacious Welcome over Dawn of Hope, since they don't have to pay mana to draw a card with Takacious Welcome. That basically happens whenever I play most of the creatures in my deck, whereas Dawn of Hope only works when I actually gain life and I have to pay 2 mana, but it's better than nothing. Alright. Cleric class was a good draw, because that gives us something to play along with Resplendent Angel or Linden. I think we play Resplendent Angel. And then Linden. Because that way we can attack with our creatures and maybe trigger Resplendent Angel, which will be a lot easier with Cleric class in play. Giving opponent treasure is not particularly great. Now, the only other problem is that they can start copying Meteor Golem with the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. Yep. Yeah, them having Meteor Golem and the Fable of the Mirror Breaker is probably going to cost me this game. And they can, of course, they can also copy it with Jaxus. I don't know why they didn't attack with that Meteor Golem. I mean, I guess they want to hold it back as a blocker, but frankly, I'm getting in for 1 life a turn. I didn't draw a card with Dawn of Hope because I didn't want to tap out, because I want to have Dawn's Truce available to give my permanents hexproof when they copy Meteor Golem. Well, I don't need to give Indestructible. That activates only as a sorcery, so that's lucky. Well, I would love to use swords to, Sune's intervention to get rid of the meteor golem, but I don't think we can afford to wait and let them copy it twice again. So I'm exiling it now. And of course now they can just start copying from Carnosaur is the only problem. I could just be dead here. Let's see. 21. Yes, I am dead here. Good game. Well, the opponent had a pretty good draw there, and Fable of the Mirror Breaker, as you see, is no joke. One of the best red cards ever printed. And that was an object lesson in why. So Taste of the Ghost Council, basically, if you resolve her, you win the game. Because she just makes bigger and bigger spirits, and makes one every turn, and gets haste when she returns to the battlefield, and all spirits you control get +X/+0, so she becomes a humongous threat. This could be good. I think our best chance is basically to overpower opponent as fast as possible. So we'll try this. The Book of Exalted Deeds. They might not block respecting a combat trick. It doesn't matter if they do. I could use Iganjo, but I don't think it's worth it. I think we play Rich Enchanter as a land, so I can get Cerise Slayer of Fear down as soon as possible. Alright, so opponent can double block Bright Blade Stout, so we can't attack with that, with their spirit. What does populate? Create a copy, a token that's a copy of a creature token you control. So that lets them create spirits if a creature died this turn. Alright, opponent could play Taste if they hit their lands are up. They do, and they do play Taste. Oh, Rizuka is also a spirit. Who knew? No surprise, they exile Teysa. Mentor of the Meek. Chump. Alright. And the good thing is, whenever we gain life, Cerise triggers at the beginning of our post-combat main phase. So if we can keep Cerise in play... Whoa, opponent... Oh, they made a mistake. They returned Taysa to the command zone instead of when she went into exile, instead of leaving her there so that she would turn to the battlefield. So she didn't come back and her intensity didn't increase. Although, with the perpetual intensity, even if she goes back to the command zone, she doesn't reset if you don't want her to. But I can see why opponent did that. That was a pretty big error. And with Cerise in play, I was going to start causing some damage, I think. As long as they didn't remove her, which they could easily well have done. Well, there we go. That was Brawl for you in Midweek Magic. Let's see what our mystery cosmetic is. Parallax card style, which is the most common type of card style. Most common type of cosmetic, in fact. So, no surprise there. So we'll take a quick look at the deck. So, Linden is a fun commander. I'm not sure if she's the most powerful, just because it's a creature strategy, and those are susceptible to removal, board wipes, and all that sort of thing. But still a lot of fun, and if you can enable the payoffs, you can do some pretty good things. So if you're looking for a good time, I can certainly recommend Linden. And hope you enjoyed. If there are any plays you thought I should have made differently, or if there's a commander you'd like to see next, whether from Throne of Eldraine or from another set, let me know in the comments. And please like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks again. Bye.